Have you ever wondered if a simple coin sitting in your collection could hold a fascinating piece of history? In today's video, we're taking a closer look at 3 Canadian 1-cent coins that represent more than just pocket change. These classic Canadian pennies feature Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side, symbolizing a significant era in Canadian history. On the reverse side, you'll find the iconic maple leaves, one of Canada's most recognized national symbols. For decades, these coins circulated across the country and became a familiar part of everyday life for millions of Canadians. The Canadian penny has a long and interesting history. Although it was once an essential part of daily transactions, Canada officially stopped producing 1-cent coins in 2012. Since then, these coins have become collectible pieces, with certain dates, varieties, and minting errors attracting attention from coin enthusiasts around the world. In this video, we'll explore these 3 Canadian pennies, uncover their history, discuss what makes them special, and find out whether they could be worth more than their face value in today's collector market. So, if you're a coin collector, a history enthusiast, or simply curious about rare and valuable coins, you're in the right place. Stay tuned as we dive into the story behind these fascinating Canadian coins and discover what secrets they might hold. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos about rare, old, and valuable coins from around the world. Welcome back to my channel Coin Vault USA. What if I told you that a coin worth only 1 cent could tell a story that spans generations, carries the image of one of the most famous monarchs in modern history, represents an entire nation's identity, and still sparks curiosity among collectors around the world? At first glance, the coin you're looking at may seem ordinary. It's small, it's made of common materials, and millions of similar coins once circulated through the hands of everyday people. Most people would probably ignore it without giving it a second thought. But the truth is that every detail on this coin was placed there for a reason. Every letter, every symbol, every design element tells part of a larger story. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the 2003 Canadian 1-cent coin, also known as the Canadian penny. We're going to uncover the meaning behind the portrait on the front, the mysterious letters surrounding it, the famous maple leaves on the back, the initials hidden within the design, and the question that every collector wants answered. Is this coin actually worth more than 1 cent? Before we look at its value, let's first understand what we're holding in our hands. This coin was issued by Canada in the year 2003. At the time, the penny was still an important part of everyday life. People used it for purchases, businesses used it for pricing, and banks handled millions of them every year. Yet few people stopped to appreciate the history embedded within this tiny piece of metal. Let's begin with the front side of the coin. The first thing that catches your eye is the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. For many people around the world, her image became one of the most recognizable faces ever placed on currency. She appeared on coins not only in Canada, but across numerous countries connected to the Commonwealth. By 2003, Queen Elizabeth II had already spent decades on the throne. Generations of Canadians had grown up seeing her portrait on their coins. Children received these pennies as pocket change. Adults carried them in their wallets, and collectors carefully stored them in albums. But why was her image placed on Canadian currency? The answer goes back to Canada's constitutional monarchy. Although Canada is an independent nation, it recognizes the monarch as its head of state. Because of this relationship, the reigning monarch traditionally appears on Canadian coins. The portrait on this particular coin represents Queen Elizabeth II during a mature stage of her reign. Over the decades, her image on Canadian currency changed several times as new portraits were introduced to reflect different periods of her life. Now look closely at the words surrounding the portrait. You'll see the inscription, Elizabeth to DG Regina. To many people, these letters seem mysterious. Some assume they're initials, while others think they're simply decorative text. In reality, these words have deep historical roots. The abbreviation DG stands for the Latin phrase Dei Gratia, which means by the grace of God. The word regina is also Latin and translates to queen. Together, the inscription means Elizabeth II, Queen by the grace of God. This tradition dates back centuries and reflects the historical language used on coins issued under monarchies. Even in the modern world, these ancient Latin inscriptions continue to appear on currency, connecting today's coins with traditions that stretch back hundreds of years. Think about that for a moment. A coin produced in 2003 carries words rooted in a language used by ancient civilizations thousands of years ago. That's one of the fascinating things about coin collecting. Every coin becomes a small time capsule linking different eras of history together. Now let's turn the coin over. On the reverse side, you'll immediately notice two maple leaves attached to a single stem. These leaves aren't there by accident. The maple leaf is one of the most powerful symbols of Canada. Long before it appeared on the national flag, the maple leaf was already associated with Canadian identity. It appeared in literature, military insignias, public celebrations, and cultural artwork. Over time, it became the symbol most closely connected with the country itself. When people around the world think of Canada, they often think of maple leaves. That is exactly why they appear on the Canadian penny. The design symbolizes national pride, unity, heritage, and the natural beauty of Canada's forests. In a way, these two simple leaves tell the story of an entire nation. What's particularly interesting is that this design remained on Canadian pennies for decades. While many countries frequently redesign their coins, Canada maintained the maple leaf penny design because it became so iconic and instantly recognizable. Near the leaves, you'll notice a small set of letters, KG. Many people never notice these initials. Others see them and wonder whether they indicate a mint mark or a special variety. In reality, KG stands for Kruger Gray, the artist responsible for creating the maple leaf reverse design. Kruger Gray was one of the most influential coin designers associated with Canadian coinage. His work became familiar to millions of people, even though most never knew his name. Every time someone spent a Canadian penny featuring maple leaves, they were carrying a small piece of his artistic legacy. This is one of the hidden details that makes coin collecting so fascinating. What appears to be a simple design often represents the work of talented artists whose creations become part of everyday life for generations. Now let's talk about something that attracts many people too: coins in the first place. Value. Can a 2003 Canadian penny actually be worth significant money? The answer depends on several factors. Most examples found in everyday circulated condition are not rare. Millions were produced and many survive today. Because of this, the average circulated coin is generally worth only a small amount above its face value. However, coin collecting isn't always about face value. Condition matters. A coin that has spent years moving through circulation typically develops scratches, wear, discoloration, and damage. But coins preserved in exceptional condition can become far more desirable to collectors. A 2003 Canadian penny with bright original surfaces, sharp details, and little or no wear can command a much higher premium than an ordinary example. And then there are error coins. Error coins are among the most exciting discoveries in numismatics. Imagine a coin leaving the mint with a mistake, perhaps a striking error, an off-center design, a die crack, or another unusual feature. Suddenly, a coin intended to be ordinary becomes something unique. Collectors actively search for these mistakes because they are often much rarer than standard issues. This is why many people carefully inspect their coins before spending them. What appears to be pocket change could potentially contain an interesting variety or minting error. And that's where the mystery begins. Could a simple penny sitting unnoticed in a drawer actually be worth more than expected? Could a small detail make the difference between a common coin and a collectible piece? Those are the questions that keep collectors searching year after year, coin after coin. Have you ever wondered if a simple 1-cent coin could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the right collector? Most people see an old penny and think it's practically worthless, but the truth is that some Canadian pennies have become highly collectible, and the 1997 Canadian 1-cent coin is one of those coins that continues to attract attention from coin hunters and collectors around the world. Before we dive into its value, let's talk about what this coin is actually made of. The 1997 Canadian penny weighs approximately 2.25 grams and is composed of 98% copper, 1.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. This high copper content gives the coin its distinctive reddish-brown appearance and makes it a favorite among collectors who appreciate traditional copper coinage. Unlike many modern coins that contain large amounts of steel or plated metals, this penny comes from an era when Canadian 1-cent coins still contained a significant amount of copper. Now let's look at the front of the coin. The obverse features Queen Elizabeth II facing to the right. Around her portrait are the words, Elizabeth to DG Regina. This Latin inscription means, Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen. It is a classic royal title that has appeared on Canadian coins for many years and serves as a reminder of Canada's connection to the monarchy. The reverse side displays the denomination 1 cent, the year 1997, the word Canada, and the iconic maple leaf design. The maple leaves are among the most recognized symbols of Canada and have appeared on Canadian coinage for generations. At first glance, the 1997 penny may seem common because millions were produced. However, experienced collectors know that value is not determined by age alone. Condition, rarity, minting quality, and possible errors can dramatically affect what a coin is worth. A heavily circulated example might only be worth a small amount above face value. However, coins that remain in brilliant uncirculated condition can command much higher prices. These are coins that have retained their original mint luster, sharp details, and minimal signs of wear. The real excitement begins when collectors discover unusual mint errors. Coins with off-center strikes, die cracks, doubled features, clipped plankets, or other production mistakes can become highly desirable. Some rare Canadian error coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity of the error and the condition of the coin. Another reason collectors pay attention to this coin is because Canada officially ended penny production in 2012. Since no new pennies are being produced for circulation, every surviving Canadian penny represents a piece of the nation's monetary history. As years pass, high-grade examples become harder to find because many coins have been lost, damaged, or removed from circulation. Many collectors spend years searching through old coin jars, estate collections, and bankrolls hoping to find a perfectly preserved example. What appears to be an ordinary coin could actually be a hidden treasure if it possesses exceptional quality or a rare minting variety. Some certified high-grade Canadian pennies have achieved impressive prices at auctions, especially when they receive top professional grades. While most 1997 pennies are not worth thousands of dollars, the possibility of finding an outstanding specimen keeps collectors searching. This is one of the reasons coin collecting remains so exciting. You never know when a coin worth only 1 cent in everyday commerce could become a prized collectible decades later. The 1997 Canadian 1-cent coin represents more than just money. It represents history, craftsmanship, and a connection to a time when pennies were still an important part of daily life. So, if you have a 1997 Canadian penny, don't rush to overlook it. Examine it carefully under good lighting. Check for unusual details, mint errors, strong luster, and sharp design features. You may discover that your ordinary-looking penny is much more interesting than you ever imagined. For collectors, every coin tells a story, and the 1997 Canadian 1-cent coin continues to tell its story nearly 3 decades after it was first struck. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced coin hunter, this small copper coin is a fascinating reminder that sometimes the most valuable discoveries come in the smallest packages. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more rare coin discoveries, hidden treasures, and valuable collector finds. Happy coin hunting!